What if you could unlearn those habits that are causing you to sabotage your relationships? How would that transform your life? Well, if you're interested in this topic, you'll want to stick around. Welcome back to Fearless and Power Tube. This is another episode talking about relationships. What I'm about to share with you could absolutely transform your relationships. So we're talking about intimate relationships. We're talking about your family. We're talking about your friends. So what we realize is that we invest a lot of our time to learning about how we can be better in our careers, how we can be better in our businesses, right? Sometimes we're obsessed with learning how we can lose weight, right? How we can be prettier, all of those things that help us to be better at ourselves. But what we realize is that we're reading all these books, we're investing our time into those kinds of things. But when I'm talking with my clients, and with every single client, I give them the life wheel. And if you don't know what that is, I'll share it with you here. What we're talking about here is really understanding where we rank with each area of our life, our finances, our career, our health, our fitness. All of these things are really doing amazing depending upon the amount of time that we're investing in it. So when you're doing this and you realize that maybe your relationships are not doing as well as you would like them to, then we realize that you're probably investing a great deal of your time in another area. What we know as a matter of fact is that those areas that you are spending a great deal of your time with will be the best areas of your life. So if you're watching this video because you want to have better habits and better relationships, then you're in the right place, because we're going to dig in deep. So specifically, I want to give you 5 things that you can do to help you have better relationships. So specifically in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things that you can do that are going to help you have better relationships. So the first one is nurture. So when we're talking about buying a book or reading a book so that we can be really great at sales or really great in our careers, we realize that we're investing our time, we're investing our energy, but oftentimes we do not nurture our relationships. So how do we do this? We have to unlearn everything that we've learned in the past about relationships. Oftentimes, these blocks we have with relationships come within us because of a story that we told ourselves about who we are in relationships and about maybe the other person. And what we realize is that maybe you've got a story that you're telling about the other person, or how uncomfortable you feel with that person. And so it's causing you to not nurture that relationship. So on one hand, you're saying that you want to have a wonderful relationship with that person. And on the other hand, your behaviors are not in a way that's nurturing the relationship. You don't text the person. You don't call the person. You don't hug the person. You don't have any special dates with that person. You don't have any special time with that person. You're essentially treating that person like they don't even exist in your life, and you're wondering why you don't have a good relationship with them. Maybe you're expecting them to make the first move. Maybe you've made all of the moves all of these years, and you have just decided that you are no longer going to be the first person that keeps investing themselves. I too have been in these relationships. I have relationships like that right now. And let me tell you something that has been really helpful for me. It's basically an affirmation that I say to myself. And it goes like this: I do not chase, I attract. What belongs to me will simply find me. And this is true with everything in my life, in relationships. I truly believe that if someone wants to spend time with you, if someone really wants to make you important in their relationship, they will find a way. They will make you a priority. So if you're that person who realizes that maybe you have not had the best habits when it comes to nurturing the relationship. You want to think about how that other person might feel, okay? So we're going to go through all of these things. So first of all, understanding how they might feel, you realize that they don't feel like they have been nurtured, right? This relationship has not been nurtured. You don't have any time together. So this would be a habit that you want to break right away. Break open your calendar right now, and you want to go ahead and schedule some times where you can literally spend one-on-one time with this person. You need dates with every single person in your life. If you have a mom, if you have a dad, a brother, a sister, a daughter, a son, you want to have a date with that person, one-on-one, uninterrupted time. Hopefully you'll just make it fun. So this is something that you need to do. So this is a habit that you need to break, and that would be that you're not nurturing, right? That's your habit right now. Let's break the habit and then become someone different who actually schedules those one-on-one dates with them so that you can nurture that relationship. Now, what we want to do is we actually want to have intention. So intention is something that's so helpful. It doesn't matter if it's a casual relationship with a friend, or if it's a family member, or even if it's your intimate relationship with your significant other, with your partner, your husband, or your wife. You want to have those special one-on-one times where you're nurturing, and then you want to have an intention for that relationship, for that day. What would be your intention? Your intention could be, I would like to make this person feel really special today. And that's something that's really important. So the habit that you're breaking here is not having any intention whatsoever, because you're not giving them any thought. And instead, you're replacing that new habit, that old habit, with a new habit of having an intention that nurtures the relationship, that actually is doing something to make them feel better. And now what we're doing here is we're breaking another habit, is not understanding that person. So we're talking about some of the things that they're going through, maybe some of the exciting times that they're going through. You want to be a part of their exciting times, or maybe they're having a hard time. You want to pick up the phone and you want to call them. You want to make sure that you understand what they're going through. And like I said, if you're in a relationship with someone else and they've always been the one to call, they've always been the one to text, they've always been the one that gives, it's now time for you to break your habit of not giving and actually go in and have some intentions of nurturing that relationship and understanding what they're going through, having a great time, having a bad time, those kinds of things. And now what we're doing is we're learning to forgive. So forgiveness can be for ourselves. Sometimes in relationships, we beat ourselves up. We realize that maybe we have not been the best brother, sister, friend, mother, daughter, whatever it is. And what we end up doing is a lot like what we do with diets, is we just say, oh, well, I screwed up my diet, so I'm not going to do my diet today. I'm going to wait until next week. So what we do in relationships instead is we decide we're not good at relationships. We decide that the relationship is broken. We decide that it's too hard. So instead what we end up doing is making this habit of beating ourselves up, or this habit of always remembering how maybe they did you wrong. So what we have to do is we have to unlearn this habit and say, okay, instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to forgive them, I'm going to forget, and I'm going to forgive myself. Maybe I have to forgive myself for the way that I've acted in this relationship. So all of these things are so important. You can't have a beautiful, loving relationship when there's this wall, right? The wall where you're beating yourself up, the wall where you see how maybe you don't agree on certain topics. So this is really key for us if we want to have a beautiful relationship with someone. And finally, we have to kind of understand them, as I was saying before, but in a different way. We have to understand their love languages. So what I'm dealing with specifically in my family is I'm seeing personality types that are so on opposite ends of the spectrum in comparison to me. And everybody in our relationships, everyone in our family are seeing that. We see how we're so different. And when you are seeing how you're so different, we focus on that. This is a habit we have to break. Okay, we're unlearning this habit. So what we want to do instead is we have to learn their love languages. And in this way, we're able to actually give more of ourselves. So now I want to really say something here. I feel really compelled to say. I did a video on this many years ago, actually, and it has to do with how much do you give in a relationship. So we hear this 50-50 split in relationships, like you have to give 50% in the relationship and someone has to meet you halfway. Well, the fact of the matter is, guess what? That's actually false. Some people would say that it's true, but I just challenge that belief because here's what I want to say. Specifically, that if you are waiting for someone to give you their 50%, you might just be waiting for a really long time. I personally have been in those relationships where I was the giver, constantly giving, constantly doing the love notes, constantly texting, constantly calling, constantly doing those special things, constantly giving gifts, and getting absolutely nothing in return. Every now and then I might hear something like, I love you. And of course, intellectually, I know they love me, but do I feel that love? See, that's that love language. When you understand what their love language is, they're touchy-feely. They need to have that one-on-one quality time. That's what I was talking about before. You need to understand these things. So we have to really understand the love languages first, but we also have to understand that we have to do more than meet people halfway, because someone could just be tired of always giving because it gets to be exhausting. And now, I know I'm going deep in this and I told you I would. I want you to understand the human needs psychology. Human needs psychology is sort of like the Maslow's hierarchy, in that we talk about we need food and shelter and those kinds of things, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, as being a human, we need the love, we need the connection, we need certainty, we need variety, we need to feel important and significant, we need to have contribution beyond ourselves, really fulfill ourselves with spirituality. All of these things make us feel whole. And I can tell you that when you can help someone with those specific needs in a hierarchy, whatever they value the most in that hierarchy, for me, it would be love and connection and significance. I need to feel important. When you can meet those needs, that person will feel fulfilled in this relationship. So you have to understand this, and you have to see them as a human with a heart and a brain, soul, a spirit. This is really key for us if we want to have that deep, loving relationship with your mother, your sister, your daughter, your significant other. It doesn't matter. But what we have to do is we have to understand that we have to be the one to give sometimes. We have to stop this belief that we have to meet someone halfway. All right, so I'm going to link the other video that I was telling you about above and below this video so you can check it out. And if you really love this video, you think it was impactful, please give it a thumbs up. Tell me how you felt about this sort of concept right here in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe if you really want to have an impactful life, if you want to learn more about self-improvement and being the best version of you. All right, this is Sharon Lee. I'm out.